John, Renee, Bays, Rakim, 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 John.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Podcast of Color, where four trash bags of color get together and make some sense of the world. I'm John, and I'm glad to be back.
You're back.
I'm
That's
back.
Why we're missing
We're
you
back,
last
dinosaurs.
Wait, what?
That was a movie. That was like
One
an
movie.
iconic movie from
We're
our childhood.
You've never seen
Dinosaur the movie?
It's
with
called
Disney?
We're Back, Dinosaurs.
It was kind
Oh,
of.
I thought you.
I do
Oh,
remember that cartoon. It was like the little girl with like the asymmetrical bob.
Oh,
It was Grimes.
Have you seen that picture of
Emma Roberts?
Julia Roberts' nephew? Yeah, I mean nephew niece. Emma Roberts. She has like the bangs, and they're like, "Oh my god, y'all! Grimes took a shower. She's coming for y'all's next."
I thought you were talking about Dinosaur, where the main character kind of looks like John McCain, but I guess that's the wrong movie.
Oh no, that's a show, wasn't it?
That's a show, yeah.
No,
I
not
thought
the
I
Land Before
dreamt
Time.
dinosaurs. I thought like I made that up in my head, and then like I saw a gif of it on Tumblr because like it was on when I was really really young. So I like thought of that. I don't know. I thought I made that up.
No, that's the Land Before Time. I'm talking about the one that was like.
I'm talking about dinosaurs. Like the man, the
okay.
dad. He comes home and they got the like toddler
And
baby
it's like
dinosaur. in the
animatronic
high chair.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CGI ones, and then they all die at the
Wasn't
end because of the meteor shower.
Wait,
No.
I don't know. I
There's
feel like
so
you're
much
conflating
dinosaur
a few
shit.
stories
There's so
together.
much dinosaur
I don't know.
shit.
wait, you guys, who are you guys?
Oh, I'm Baze, and I'm just gay and tired.
I'm Rakim. I'm also gay and tired because I took one too many of my anxiety pills this morning, so I'm going to push through.
Saying this, I feel your pain.
I'm Renee, and I am a Taurus rising
Lies.
and a Virgo moon and a Cancer sun. If y'all want to look up our compatibility.
Ooh.
Wow.
No,
She's feeling
and
her oats.
there's a
She's
super
feeling her
moon
pussy.
coming at the end of the month. The next super moon
What's
is coming.
Nah.
What does that do for your astrological sign?
Say what?
It's just gonna be crazy.
What is
it's
it?
just gonna be intense.
It's
gonna
like,
be an
yeah,
intense
it's
day.
like intensified.
Does that mean that like your moon sign's intensified or just everything?
Hexes.
not
Bruhex.
not a Bruhex. I'm not a
A
Bruhex.
Can't you
Bruhex?
just
Go off?
Can't you just like consult Google? Like
Go off?
go
Go off, God.
But yeah, this is us.
This
I love that. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for the question
Oh
of color.
no.
Oh, that's
Baby,
right.
let
Base.
the games begin. Let the games begin. Let the games begin.
I can see people in the comments now. Find the note, sis. Find the note. But you know it's okay.
Listen, I can't, and I've accepted that, and it's okay.
You
Now,
know.
everybody, we all have our talents.
Is that
So the
funny to you?
question of color. Wait, how do you say it, Rakeem? Of color.
Color.
Of color. You have like
Color.
a sort of like New Zealander or like Australian accent when you do that.
That's exactly what it is. Everything that I say is in British. Is with the British.
Cries in British.
I'm speaking British until I get to color, and then I say color, and I turn like to it's like. It's Buddy. It's like Lupita, Iggy Azalea, Lupita.
Oh
so
my
it's
God.
okay.
So our question of color
Color.
is who is your favorite and who is your least favorite activist of all time?
Oh.
And I understand that, like, so that's something like it's funny that I came up with this question because like I was like I really don't have a favorite. But I'm just gonna list like someone that I like that I do it a couple people that I do admire, and then one person that I've like always had this I've always just despised. But anyway, continue.
Oh.
Can I go
Yeah.
fast?
Yes, please do.
My favorite is Harriet Tubman, the baddest bitch.
Go off. Go off.
Because I mean, your fave could never, like literally. Do you remember on Real Houses of Atlanta when Portia was like, "Is this where they got on?"
I already know.
Wait, what? Keep going. I want to know.
She didn't know that
Housewives
the
of-
Underground Railroad wasn't an actual railroad. She was like, well, how did they get in the
They go to
car?
this. They go to this site, John, and she literally talks to the tour guide, and she goes, "Is this where people got on the Underground Railroad?"
Oh.
It's like,
She was like, well, it doesn't look like they could have. Where are the tracks? And
it's like,
and she just
sweetie,
did not
that's
get it
not.
at all.
Oh my god.
Like, can you imagine just a whole underground train system that the white people have no?
And she was a whole ass 30 years old. She wasn't even like, it wasn't like she was like some teenager. This is a
It's
grown
like-
ass woman.
It's like, sweetie,
From
that's
the
not
South.
it. Wow. My least favorite is Robert E. Lee.
He was an activist?
Well, for the wrong cause.
Oh, I guess.
But yeah. So
My favorite is, wow, why am I like now, like, I've been thinking about him this whole time and now my head. Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin?
No.
James.
What?
James,
There we
sweetie,
go.
I'm
Alec Baldwin?
How do we mute the mic? How do we mute
how do we
John?
mute
How do
John's
we do
mic?
that? How do we do that? Because that's trash.
I don't know. You said
Gotta
Baldwin.
put the whole John in rice. That's trash.
Baldwin.
Not the whole John in the trash.
I want to like. I just want to like hit you with a newspaper.
Bad John. Bad.
That
John.
was just wow. And then my least favorite is probably Booker T. Washington. So my favorite reason James Baldwin is like my favorite. Granted, he was a snow queen, but like, you know what? At this point, all of the
Because
all
at the end of the
black gays that
day-
get famous are like we
At the
can't
end of
have-
the day,
can't
aren't
have
we
any-
all snow queens?
They're all snow queens. It's like I think it's like a rule. Like if you make it, you just gotta get you a white. Like I think that maybe that's the Illuminati is that you just gotta have a white. Because you're not allowed to date anybody but a white. Yeah, but I just admire his work, and I like just the way that the unapologetic way that he lived, and he was born in the 20s, so like for him to like have gone through the the 30s and the 40s, like when I think about like all the shit that I dealt with, being a teenager in like the aughts, it's just like crazy, like to think that somebody like that could just live their truth so like openly and unafraid, and the fact that he was largely erased from the civil rights movement but was like so important to it. I just admire that. And the reason I don't like Booker T. Washington that much is because he was someone who preached to black people to lower their standards in terms of education and expectations in life, but at the same time was like having his children educated at like the best schools in the country. So I just have this animosity towards him because he was all about like telling black people to aim lower while he aimed higher, and it was just very like Condoleezza Rice of him, or like I don't know.
Oh no.
What's the other nigger that was working in Bush's?
Oh my god.
It's very Omarosa of him. I don't know what the other. What was it? Colin Powell? Well, I don't know if Colin Powell is like in there like that, but I don't know much about Colin Powell. But he was just very much that kind of Negro. He was very.
Wait.
He was very what?
Would you just like? Were you as shocked as I was?
Wait.
Just so
Yes.
casual. Like I don't
What's
know.
the other nigger?
Anyway,
It's just so casual. Okay.
I mean, that's just what it is. I just speak the truth. And that's
Shit.
but yeah, so I just don't like that. I just don't like that he was preaching for other black people to aim lower and was doing the complete opposite. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. What y'all thinking? Who are y'all faves and least faves?
I have a tie.
Okay.
Between two wonderful black women.
Sorry.
Oh my god,
was
what?
that?
What was that?
Sorry, I just laughed.
Oh.
No.
You laughed because I have a tie? No, I'm kidding. Why are you laughing?
That scared the shit out of me. I was like,
I know.
what?
It sounded like you were trying to like swat.
What
a
is
fly or
happening over there?
No, I'm sorry. I was just laugh. It just was funny to me. Sorry. No, move on. I'll tell you
Okay.
off air. I'll tell you off air.
I have a tie between my favorites, Andra Lord and Marsha P. Johnson.
Okay. Yeah, good choices.
And then my least favorite are all the cis white gay men who I had the pleasure or not pleasure of marching with last year, and kept telling the
Yikes.
trans Latina contingent to not say anything about cops. And I'm like, you don't need to march next to us if that's what you're gonna do. So go somewhere else.
Ooh, that's real.
And Renee.
Trash.
I would want to say that I don't think that I have a specific favorite, but I think I don't know. I guess maybe just like all the unspoken activists that probably aren't going to end up in textbooks and like aren't really ever credited for their involvement and their contribution to the movements. So I just think in general, like, and this is going to be a really Renee answer, but I feel like the like idea of activism can be stretched into like a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And like everyone can like have their own version of activism and contribute in their own way. So
I could have swore you were gonna say Fran Drescher, but that's a good answer
you heard too.
Oh,
Franti-capitalist Drescher, her too.
Renee, I know you can do a Fran Drescher impression for me, please. I know it. I know it in my soul. You can. Yes, you can.
I'm sure it's in there somewhere. But
The soul or the impression?
I'm not sure about the soul. The impression, though, maybe. But yeah, and then my least favorite would probably be just like either like like I was gonna say either like hypocritical activists or maybe activists that really like it's just like they're just one note and there's no like kind of like looking at other people in their community that are being kind of marginalized. It's just like my own and that's it. And that's all. Like I think that's a little frustrating for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for our intro and minutes of color. So we'll be back with
The minutes of color.
with the minutes of color. Lord Jesus, fix it, Jesus. Look, I've been in the car for 5 hours. Okay, this is just what's left of me. Yeah. So we'll be back
She's
with
the
the
shell
minutes
of
of color.
herself.
That's going to be it of the. Yeah, I really am. But anyway, all right. We'll be back.
Trash, 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 trash. Hello.
Fuck
It's
you.
only your voice. Welcome back. We're here with minutes of color.
Ew.
And
Girl, take the dick out. We're recording.
And we're just happy to be here. You know, we're just always happy to be here, and with all of you. Most importantly,
You sound so thrilled.
Are you not? Are you not thrilled to be here?
No, I am. I said you sound thrilled.
Oh, I am very thrilled. I'm just very tired as well. So I'm sorry if my voice is not conveying the feelings that I am trying to get across to you all. But yeah, so let's just jump on in there.
John would
This
know
is
about
like
that.
not a great. I don't know. Like I mean, I had like a fun weekend, but this is not like not a lot of great things have happened this weekend.
Yeah, should we start with deaths or should we start with
We're starting with death. Dolores O'Riordan, is that how you pronounce her name? From the lead singer of the Cranberries.
Yeah.
Just passed away at
so.
46.
I don't know how to pronounce sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Wow.
so she was 46 years old. The details of how she died are not available at this time. But yeah, I mean, I have never heard of the Cranberries, but
Me
everybody
What?
on Twitter was talking.
I didn't
No, I've
either.
never- yeah.
What?
Everybody on Twitter has been talking about it. So
She
I mean, I
was
hear they're
like-
very much like a white people thing. The Cranberries.
Kind
I
of,
don't
but
know
she
if
was
they were-
also like every '90s teeny bopper movie. Like the Cranberries was on that soundtrack. Like they were in Clueless.
And maybe I
they were-
heard it, but I didn't. Like I wouldn't have known them. I mean,
There.
Oh, you never heard that song, Zombie?
maybe.
I think it was also probably before y'all's time too, though.
I mean,
That's part of
not
that's
that.
part of it.
I don't think it was.
It
that
was.
far.
You had to be kind of. Yeah. No. You had to be like a certain age to get the Cranberries.
I mean,
it was
Zombie
like
was
when-
a classic.
I don't think. I think they were like 2 when that came out.
What was it? Zombies? I'm
Yeah.
googling this now.
Yeah, we were born in
Because
1992, so
Yeah,
I was
that
born in 91,
that song
bitch.
came out in
I'm even
'94,
older.
I believe.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, but we were young too. But oh, that's true. Never mind.
But
yeah,
y'all still older than us. Oh yeah, it came out in '94. I was like 2 or 3.
yeah,
And,
that's
like-
what I'm saying. Like this is before their time. It's not even just like it's a white thing. It's also like it was before they could.
You know what I just discovered? Weezer, "Say It Ain't So." I love that song. It came out in '94, and I love it.
you've never heard that song before?
Say it ain't so. It's like my new bop.
I don't know
That
what
is so
any of
funny.
what you guys are talking about for the last 5 minutes. Like, what?
I mean, I don't know what they're talking about either, but you know,
Um,
it's unfortunate whenever anybody passes away. Or do you guys have any like personal feelings in this?
Yeah, let's talk about something other than what we don't know about them.
Yeah,
so like
no,
the
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, so like the Cranberries were iconic in the '90s. They were probably like my favorite band when I was like 8, 9. So that's a huge fucking deal.
It's
But
a lot
yeah.
of like romantic songs, angsty songs, like all the like baby gays, like
Yeah, it was kind of like you know how like there was this weird like '90s kind of like angst.
mhm.
And she was like one of the poster children for like that
Yeah.
whole like white
think,
women,
like-
but like women who were angsty in the '90s.
I think like if I was listening to Mazzy Star, like right after that, I'd want to hear a Cranberry song. You know, if I was to make a playlist,
Sure.
because they're like go hand in hand. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, I'm super bummed out about that. Like I didn't. Yeah, that sucks. But anyway.
Do you remember in Clueless where Elton is like,
Yes,
he raises his hand in the
singing
middle of
along
class,
to the.
and he's like, "Hey, I have to get my Cranberry CD. I left it in my locker." I was like, oh, that's what I thought of when she died.
Yeah, that's what you thought of when she died. Is
I have
Elton
to get my-
forgetting
I
the
was,
CD?
I was thinking I have to get my Cranberry CD. I left it in my locker. But no, but seriously, it's really sad, and they just had really good music.
Oh my god. But yeah, R.I.P. Queen of white angsty women in the 90s. So yeah, the next topic is.
It's not any happier.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah. Catherine Deneuve has she's tried to she's clarified her position. I don't know if do you guys know who that is?
Yes.
Catherine Deneuve. Yes. So she's a French actress. She's
I
been
don't.
making the movies since like the 60s or 50s or something. And her and a bunch of other French actresses have come out to say that the Me Too movement is a witch hunt and everything is being, just all these things are happening, and it's making men who are not that bad lose their careers, and they don't recognize themselves in this movement because they're victimizing women and blah, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of backlash to that. I mean, obviously, and so she has clarified her statement. She says, "I'm a free woman and I will remain one," Ms. Deneuve said in a letter to Liberation. "I fraternally salute all women victims of odious acts who may have felt aggrieved by the letter in Le Monde. It is to them and them alone that I apologize." She said, "Yes, I signed this petition, and yet it seems to me absolutely necessary today to emphasize my disagreement with the way some petitioners individually claim the right to spread themselves across the media, distorting the very spirit of this text." And it's just like, I don't know.
Wait, which petition is she talking about?
Sorry, I forgot to mention that. There was a petition that they were signing. They were putting their names on, to combat, I guess, Me Too.
What?
What?
Yeah, it was just a whole ass mess. And
Who's heading this campaign to combat Me Too?
huh?
I've never
It's
even
a
heard
bunch
of
of
it.
French women. I don't know them. They're French actresses in France. So it's just a bunch of women in France that are feeling a type of way about what's basically going on right now in Hollywood, which I guess is having rippling effects all across the world. Which obviously because it's a very I don't know if globalist is the right word, but the industry is global. So. Obviously, it's going to touch every aspect of that, and I think that they feel a type of way about this. I've heard different responses to this. One is that a lot of these women are older French women, and so there's this, there's been a lot of conversation about like, well, they've been taught to normalize this behavior, and so we should have compassion for them because they've probably gone through this and worse and were told to shut up about it, and so they've internalized it. There's also the other side of it, which are people who feel like these women are of a certain class, and definitely the way that racism is definitely a big issue everywhere, particularly in France. The way they talk about assault and such takes a different tone when we're talking about some young kid of color as opposed to these respected white men in the industry. So I've just been seeing a lot of things. I feel, I don't know, I've kind of like stepped away from this because like I read it, but like I don't really feel like it's, I don't know, my place to be like, how dare you say, I don't know. I mean, I think it's horrible to equate this to a witch hunt, especially when it seems that there are actual witches. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't some fake thing. Like, these are men who are actually doing these things, and in the majority of cases, they're not even denying that they've done these things. So, I mean, I don't know. Eliza Dushku came out as well.
Shut up, John.
No. I'm not laughing because of that. I'm laughing because she's my Bring It On fave. Well, one of my Bring It On faves.
My Buffy fave.
She says she was assaulted when she was 12 on the set of True Lies.
No.
What?
Yeah, by a stunt coordinator.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I won't go into detail, but basically he groomed her and her family, and it's just and then
not Eliza Dushku.
Yeah, that came out of like left field. I like wasn't expecting that at all. But
men are trash. Like, I just find it really interesting how I'm sure that there has been cases about this, but 99.9% of the accusers are women. I mean men. I'm so sorry. Like,
of the accused, you mean?
No. Thank you. Sorry. It's all had a long day.
Okay.
Yeah, the people that are perpetrating and doing this are men, and it's like that says something, and it's just so like I almost feel like I'm almost scared that people are going to be normalized to people telling stories about sexual assault so that it doesn't have an impact because it happens so often. Like, that's my fear because people are like, oh, another one, like, or whatever. The same way how like mass shootings don't really affect me anymore because we just see so many of them. Like, they affect me, but like I'm not like heartbroken every time one happens because they just happen so fucking often. Like, I'm surprised one hasn't happened.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
I mean, it's been a while.
It's been a minute. No, but I'm not saying I want it to. I'm just saying, like, it happens so often that when they do happen, you're like, okay. Like, I've read that there's been mass shootings before and scrolled, and I don't want the Me Too thing to turn into something like that. It's almost kind of, I almost feel like it's a tactic now that people use where they're like, oh, well, what's it called? Like protest fatigue or something like that, where it's like, if you just, overwhelm people with a ton of shitty stuff, they'll just be apathetic, and it works.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm so with the Aziz Ansari situation. I actually am more actually want to talk more about like the reaction to it than the actual thing itself because it's horrible and we can go on and on about it. It sparked a discussion on coercive sex, and I. Like the difference between that and like non-consensual sex and the way that like men kind of like.
Well, do you want to describe the situation for people who might not know what happened?
Yeah, can you? I actually need.
If I can give you the gist of it, is that this woman went on a date with Aziz, and he kind of kept pestering her to submit to fooling around, and they did. And she felt horrible about it the next day. She emailed him or texted him about it the next day, and then he apologized because, from his perspective, he says that he thought that it was all like completely consensual. From her perspective, she felt that he was kind kind of badgering her into it to a point where she felt like she couldn't say no.
Or she like on a couple occasions, I believe, like was saying like, I would rather not do this, or like, let's do this instead, or like, I think at one point she said, let's just like hang out first, because he was being really kind of
Pushy.
Yeah, and pushy with it, and she was just kind of like, let's just chill for a minute, and he'd be like, okay, but then like a couple minutes later would just go straight for it again.
Yeah, like they were. She said that they were kissing like the first time they kissed or something. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go grab a condom," and she was like, "What the fuck?" Like,
yeah.
So.
Oh man, not Aziz.
Trash. Well, let me not. Well, yeah.
But what I was gonna say is, it's like I was sitting at a table at Tasty Burger in Boston. Shout out to Tasty Burger. But I was sitting in a group of women, and I was just kind of watching this heated exchange, because one woman was like, I feel like he did the best thing he can do in that situation, which is he apologized the next day and that he didn't realize. But then the other woman was like, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. So it like sparked this huge debate about whether it was enough for him to have apologized for it because it was, I guess, technically consensual. And but then the other side of it is, well, but it shouldn't have to be a technically consensual thing, and it sparked a lot of conversations about getting enthusiastic consent from the person before you move forward. And so there was just like, those are the sides that I'm hearing, which is that what can he do at this point? And then I'm also hearing like, well, it doesn't matter because what he did was unacceptable, and you know that should be the end of it, and he should basically lose his career. So there are some people who are like, well, maybe it doesn't have to be both extremes, you know.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
That was my feeling too. Like, he said sorry right away, and I know that's this is a really
hard, John. We get it.
Situation.
Yeah.
I just like what is he supposed to do now?
Well, the thing is that some people think that sorry is not enough because that doesn't always mean people will change their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like,
and sorry doesn't absolve you of guilt. Of, like, I mean, responsibility.
Right, or like fucking the other person over.
But I think the question. Oh, go ahead.
I was having this discussion this weekend on like, because if I think about a lot of my sexual interactions, I usually have no idea that the other person is into me until like they go in for a kiss, and it's never like, it's hardly if ever. I don't think I've ever been asked like, is it okay if I kiss you? Like, people just go in for it. You know what I'm saying? And like, in most cases, I want to say in 95% cases, it was somebody that I was like hoping would kiss me. But so that's cool. But then also it's just like, holy shit. Like, on the other hand, like if it's someone, like let's say if it's someone, I've had it from people that like I was just like, wait, no, like I absolutely don't want to do this. So it's just like, it's this thing of just like, I'm not used to being asked for consent for a lot of things, and like it's just because you kind of like start to like feel like synchronization with somebody, or like start to like feel them out like via body language instead of like asking things. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's just like it's making me more aware of like, oh shit, like even like with the body language that, or like nonverbal cues that are saying like, hey, like I'm down for this, like maybe it's like smart and like to like start to like verify like verbally like, hey, is this okay?
Yeah.
Right. But I also think that in the culture that we've grown up in, it's like I've always been taught that it's weird to ask to kiss someone first, and maybe that's just what
like it kills the mood, right?
Yeah,
but
like
also,
it makes it awkward.
But like I've done that, and people have been like, just fucking do it. And so, you know, so on one hand, I kind of see, I don't want to say I see both sides of the coin, but I get where both like kind of people are coming from, and that like I think that there definitely needs to be more education in terms of like what the situation was and coercion and that kind of thing. But like on the other hand, John, I think, made a fair point, which is if you do apologize and you are truly sorry, and let's just say he didn't know. I'm not saying that he did, but let's just say that he didn't know. Like, what, like, and he was truly sorry. Like, then what happens? Like, what does it look like then? Like, what do you think that they have to do in order to put in the work? And I think that's kind of where we like want to have the conversation, because I'm sure some people have been in those situations where they've maybe done something to someone where they didn't know that they did. Like, I've had situations where I've like been like with people and I haven't really said anything, but it wasn't to the point where like I felt like violated or anything, but I just maybe didn't want to kiss them and I did it or whatever. And it's like, I don't know. It's really hard to talk about, I guess.
And my thing is, with like this sort of started because of Harvey Weinstein, right? And the thing is, like, that one person has multiple accusers, and not multiple, but like multiple incidences. And here we have one person with one. And so, like,
but
at a quick glance,
that doesn't mean that they've not let had other people feel uncomfortable.
Right, I know I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that, like, at first glance, people are going to put these two in the same box, and I wouldn't put them in the same box because we don't know if this person's a repeat offender. All we know is this one incident, whereas the other person has multiple instances and didn't say sorry, and is just not admitting to anything.
Yeah, and I also think context is important too, because I wouldn't say that like Aziz is a Harvey Weinstein for sure, because Harvey Weinstein like tracked down and, you know, like abused his power and that kind of thing, and this was just like a date gone wrong. Like, so I think that
I would disagree with that, actually.
I
think there was abuse of power here too, honestly.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's not in the same way though. Like, I think that I don't know.
I mean, we have different opinions. That's fine. Like, it's
no. I get what you're saying, but like, I mean, abuse of power in that, like, Harvey Weinstein was like, you know, with some people, like, you won't work again. Like, I don't think Aziz, that kind of thing. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying in that respect. I mean, like, Harvey Weinstein is literally like, I'm Harvey Weinstein. If you don't do this, you'll never work in this town again. Whereas I think Aziz's situation was more like, you know, do you want to do it? Like, will you do it? Come on. Like, and, you know, kind of badgering someone to the point where they kind of just say yes because they're tired of saying no. Like, that's an abuse of power. But I think the situation's a little bit different. But again, I don't know. I just think this stuff is really hard to talk about because you don't want to say the wrong thing and get like crucified at the stake when you're just trying to like sort things out. Like, and I think that's what's important to note too, is that we don't know everything that happened. So we're just trying to figure this shit out just like y'all are.
Yeah, I mean, that's where because I was like sitting listening to it, and like my first instinct when I hear these stories is, you know, well, one is you should always believe the victim. But on the other hand, it was like I was hearing this other woman and I was just like, wow, she's like making some good points, because she was just like, should this be it for him? Right. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't definitively say yes. I just was like, I don't know. And then I was listening to my other friend who was like, you know, who was somebody who was a survivor and like has had experiences with like counseling other people who have dealt with assault. And they were just like, you know, like, this is like unequivocally wrong. But then they also weren't saying this should be the end of him. And so some people were just like, I think that the question is, what happens going forward? You know what I mean? Like, what do we do with this? And then how do we talk about it? Because it's and like, up until now it's been...
I was going to say, does holding someone accountable mean just like, okay, then they're done with, we're holding accountable and that's it. And you're like in the trash now.
And I think part of it is because up until now, the majority of people have been like unequivocally on the side of bad. You know what I mean? Like, they were like, there was at no point a situation where you could look at it and be like, well, that's a gray area. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, you look at almost all of the situations where someone has been accused, and it's like, yeah, that was fucked up. That person should be done. That should be the end of their career. Because and so I think that's what's got a lot of people like confused. I don't know. I'm not afraid to admit that I just don't know what to do in the situation, and I'm not going to be out here screaming for one or the other because I just don't know.
But that's good though. I think a lot of more people need to just say, I don't fucking know. You don't always have to have like a strong opinion on everything, like, because you don't know everything. And sometimes we just need to sit back and listen and read up on things, and you know, that is what it is. And it's okay to be like, I don't know something and I'm going to learn it. And this is a situation where we're not sure, you know?
And I think it's important to look at the way that we ourselves are socialized and how, you know, younger people are socialized, and try to move forward with the idea that we should definitely have someone's consent. Like, I know it can be awkward to ask, but it's way better to ask and have that awkward moment than it is to like find out that you assaulted somebody.
And there can be ways in where it's like, it's still, you know, it's not awkward, where it still kind of flows with it. So
I mean, to be fair, I've never had a situation where somebody has asked me something and it went awkward. Like, if you're making out and you guys are in the middle and you stop and you're like, is it okay? Do you want to go further? I think that it can be done. I don't think that's like, I don't think that it's like so difficult to do. So
no, because there are definitely times where people like went for shit and did not ask, and I was like, whoa, like what the fuck are you doing right now? And like, for me, like as soon as I feel like somebody's like forceful about shit, or like it like immediately puts me off and makes me uneasy, and I'm already just like, I'm just gonna go home. Like, I can't do this.
Yeah. And we don't talk about the fact that some people say yes to situations that they're not comfortable with because they don't feel that they have any other choice.
Right. That,
you know,
that's a big one too.
Yeah, a lot, because one woman was saying, you know, I wish I could remember her name on Twitter, but she was saying like, sometimes it just feels like men don't really care whether we're in our bodies or not when these things are happening.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I didn't even like think about that, but like that's a real thing. A lot of people, like, it's easier for them to just disassociate than it is to like forcibly say no, because they don't know if they're safe to say no. They don't know what'll happen. They don't know, you know. I think that for some people in those situations, they feel like they at least have the illusion of some sort of power in a situation, so which is why they say yes instead of just saying I don't want to do this, because then, you know, if you decide to just do it anyway, then, you know, they feel powerless. I don't know. But yeah, going forward,
Wait, John, I think were you going to say something, John?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
No, I was going to say something. Not that this makes things better, but you know, I think from a lot of our experiences as man and like male presenting folks, and I think in gay culture specifically, we were just taught like there's not a lot of communication going on in general, because it's like, you know, it's sort of this joke that you look in someone's eye and you get this like 1, 2, 3 and it's like ready to go, right? And like there's not a whole lot of like, can I do this? It's just like we were just taught to just do it, you know.
And especially with like cruising culture and like the way people had the way people had to hook up before, where they had to do it kind of in the hidden.
That's what I meant to say. There's not like, because you know, back then, especially because cruising is an art because you have to sort of figure it out without talking. Because if you do talk, the result is getting beat up or
getting
violence.
Caught or
So, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it's a weird situation, I think, specifically for certain communities if the acts don't involve talking.
Right. But you can also even then you can communicate like, no, I don't want this.
Right. Yeah. You can like push it. I don't know.
But and still be forced upon.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. That is a good point.
Yeah, that was like a mini discourse.
That was. Oh no.
So I mean, we're not done. I think Rakeem is gonna have the most to say about this, so I'm kind of gonna.
Oh shit! I forgot about this guy.
But Mario Testino and Bruce Weber, who are two photographers. Mario, why do I keep pronouncing his name like that? Mario because I think it's the Testino part that like throws me off, and I feel like his name should sound fancier, and his first name should sound fancier.
Not anymore.
But what?
Go ahead.
I said not anymore, but whatever.
Yeah. So Mario Testino is actually someone who like works with the British royal family and Vogue, and is like super like a huge photographer. But Condé Nast and Vogue have stopped working with both of them because they've been accused by 15 models and I think a few assistants as well, being of sexual harassment and of like ending people's career opportunities in that industry. So
it's
Rakeem, thoughts?
Yeah, it's just so disappointing. Like Bruce Weber, I've kind of heard stuff about before, but I wasn't really completely sure. The Mario Testino thing really, like, when I read that, I actually read it a few days ago, and I was just sitting there shocked, like, because Mario Testino, like you were saying, he's relevant. Like, he shot the latest cover of Vogue, like the one with Serena Williams and her baby. Like, that's him.
Yeah.
And it's like he's filmed, or not filmed, he's shot so many different covers. And like when I was in college, I used to email his editorial team all the time, like, hey, like, I want to be your assistant and blah 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 and all this shit. And it was really unprofessional, and I never got anything back. But like, I wanted to have his job, and I wanted to do what he did, and he's one of the reasons why I continue to do photography, and he's influenced a lot of what I like to do. And to hear that is I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's more heartbreaking to hear about the stories of the victims, but it's just like, well, fuck. And part of the thing that pisses me off about this is that, like, this stuff has gone on for so long, and I'm sure that people have probably known about it and haven't said anything, because there's a lot of stuff. So I used to intern at a modeling agency, and I worked with a ton of different ones when I was in school and outside of school and in college and all of that. And like, the stuff that models go through is actually terrible, and no one really talks about it, or rather cares to talk about it in a way that's productive. So for example, there was an incident where there were models who were like left in a stairwell, and like in a like hotel room, or like a casting room, and like the lights were off, and like no one came to like help them, and they were there for hours, and like nothing happened. And those are two casting directors. Or it can be anything small as like, if you're going to shoot with a certain photographer that's kind of creepy, the modeling agents will tell you, well, just so you know that this guy's a little bit off. Like, they won't not book you with him. They won't tell you to not shoot with him. They won't blacklist him. They'll just tell you that he's weird and you should be prepared for weird shit. And that's what was going on in the article that I was reading. And there was an assistant, the third assistant to Mario Testino. So the way photography works when it comes to that, it's like you have the fourth, third, second, and first assistant. And so the fourth and third assistants are usually like PAs and shit. But he was saying that Mario would pretty much like coerce him to try to have sex with him, like in the hotel room, and like would I believe his interview was like done when he was wearing an open robe and shit like that. And it's like, stuff like that. Or like, he once pushed people out of a shoot to, like, with another model to say, I need, like, he's not getting it or something like that. And then he got on top of the model and said something like, I'm the girl, or pretend I'm the girl and you're the boy, or something like that. And he did this to like a ton of different male models and got like really close to them. And where Bruce Weber, like, he would do campaigns, and then he would pretty much he would like cut people that wouldn't get naked for him, or like wouldn't go to his hotel room and shit like that. And it's so gross, and it pisses me off, because photography for me, it's more than just like taking pictures, and it's more than just like self-esteem. It literally saved my life when I was in high school. And so to see people use that to take advantage of other people like this and assault them upsets me to no end. Like, they just treat it like a joke. Like, this is something that's so serious, and so many people want to do and would kill to have those jobs. And you sit there and you abuse these people. And models, a lot of the times too, people don't realize, a lot of models, especially European models, or models from other countries, they're like the sole breadwinner for their family. So if, like, there's a lot of girls that come from, and men too, that come from Russia or come from these countries in Europe, and they are put into these model apartments where there's like 18 people living in an apartment at once that's paid for by the agency. And if they don't book jobs, then their family doesn't eat. And I've seen it so many times where people do this uncomfortable shit, because if they don't do it, they won't get booked, they'll get cut from this campaign, and then their mom's unable to get their medicine back home or something like that. So when these photographers take advantage of these people, it's fucking sick, and it pisses me off to no fucking end. This is why it's really important this is why I have a rule where to kind of bring it like to zoom in a bit. I have a rule with me where if there's any sexual anything that's happened with anyone, I refuse to take pictures of them, because I don't want any shit like this to happen, and I don't want there to be any kind of confusion, and I don't want anything to like cross the line that it shouldn't cross, because I care about my practice like way too much. And it's so fucking annoying that these people in these really highly professional jobs don't have that same respect for their work and for the people. And it's like, I don't even put myself in that position. Like, and sometimes people I've dated have asked me that too. And unless I see this going somewhere, I either tell people I can photograph you or I can date you. You don't get both. Like, if you date me, you're not fucking going into my studio. You don't get to see any of that shit. If I photograph you, we can do that, but that's about it. Because I'm not like, I don't mix those two things. And so the modeling industry in general is just, the lines are blurred, because a lot of the times these models get booked based off of who the casting directors want to sleep with. Like, and so I know a lot of people have been told, like, your job is to basically want them to fuck you. And so it's like, it's just really gross. And it's...
Yeah, that was what they were saying in the article, was like the guy was saying that like he felt like if they didn't want to fuck him, he was failing, because that was how you got jobs, was if if designers and photographers and makeup artists and stylists wanted to fuck you.
Yeah, no, it's like, I can't tell you how many times, like, there's stuff that, like, I've seen stuff happen where it's gross. Like, I know of someone who's a designer who was known for, like, being really creepy and, like, grope people, and I've, like, seen it done, and I was just sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, in my mind, it didn't register, because I remember people told me that he's just, like, this creepy person, and so when it happened, I was like, oh, what? Not to me, but when it happened to someone that I knew, it was kind of just like, oh, okay, like, we were all like, ugh, like, yeah, there he goes, being a creep again. But then we realized, like, at the end, like, that's really fucking unprofessional. Like, you shouldn't do that. Or that's like, you just see a lot of photographers that just, you know, go around and like fuck on shoots. And like, it's the same thing with Terry Richardson. Now, he did all of this stuff, and it took Condé Nast so fucking long to fire him and ban him from shit. And it's like, I guarantee you that there are a lot of more artists and photographers that do that, but they're just not exposed yet, therefore they're getting work. And the fashion industry should be ashamed of itself for not taking a stand on this earlier, and having a clear line or just drawing a sanded line about this, because it's gross. So it's like, yeah, Anna Wintour like banned him or whatever, but like, why wasn't this done before? Like, I'm sure they knew about this.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything. You pretty much covered all of it, and we do want to move on to some happy things. But I just wanted to say that I've been approached by like designers and photographers before, and I've just been so thankful that this is not like an industry where like I'm trying to work in, really. Like, it's something like I've dabbled in, but I'm so glad that it's not something that like I'm too short, fortunately, to ever be a real model. And I also, like, my face is super asymmetrical, and I don't have the bone structure for it. But
Stop. Oh my god.
No, I'm not. I'm dead. Look, I think I'm gorgeous, but I just don't have the model look, and that's fine. That's okay. I don't have to have it.
I mean,
my point is that I'm glad that that's not something that, even if I wanted to do, it's something I could really be successful in, because just
you couldn't see yourself doing all that stuff.
Well, no, I've been propositioned by people soon
I mean,
after
like,
being
going
like,
through
I wanted
it.
to,
I mean, you can't see yourself going through it.
I don't know. I'm just saying I'm glad I don't have to, because I don't, because
a lot of times it's not consensual. So
yeah, I mean, it's not even just that. It's that your job is transactional in a way that I don't think is fair. Like,
your commodity.
Yes, jobs
still,
are supposed.
Still,
yeah, exactly.
And that's what I mean. Like, it's still like the power structure is like, there's an imbalance, and that's still not consensual, I would say.
Yeah, because there's been things that I've been offered, and I've been like, oh my god, that's so exciting, and like I wanted to tell everybody. Fortunately, I didn't, because then quickly after saying that I was wanted for this thing, it was like, oh, so like, are you a top or a bottom? What's your sexuality? This or that, you know, some type of intimate question that lets me know that what you're interested in is fucking me and not necessarily shooting me. And so I'm glad that that's something that's not really an option for me, because I don't know what I would be willing to do and how I would deal with it mentally or emotionally if that was something that was open to me, really.
Yeah, Baze has talked to me about like people asking him to shoot before, and I've been like, girl, I don't know, because it just seems fishy. Like, you know, like there's ways you should go about. There's ways that people go about finding people to shoot, and there's like a professional way you should go about doing it, even if it's people that you know, and especially if it's someone like over the internet or something like that. And if you go about it in a way that's not like, you're not sending emails, you're not sending call sheets or like mood boards or shit like that, and you're just kind of sending a DM and saying, well, hey, like, you know, hey, I liked your ass pic, like whatever, like there's red flags, you know.
Yeah, I just feel like if you want to fuck people, just ask, like,
just say it.
Say hi, like, just say hi and go from there. Like, I think the whole using like, oh, like I want to do this shoot, or oh, this, like, it's just like some of the guys who if they had just told me up front, I would have just been like, oh, sure. But the fact that they did this roundabout way of like trying to do it made me feel weird. It was just like that put me off. It's just like, you really could have got it and you didn't even have to offer me no shoot or nothing, but instead you decided to be weird about it, and so now I feel uncomfortable, like,
not feel sketchy
speaking to you anymore. But so how was on a lighter note, how was everybody's weekend?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I couldn't find any like positive news stories, so I was like, let's just talk about like positivity in our day-to-day lives.
It's okay. I mean, we are running long, so we can be quick.
Yeah.
My weekend. Well, I slept all day today, which was nice. Like, you know, like sometimes when you like want to do shit and your body's like, sis, just sit the fuck down. My body's, I said, oh, I need to do stuff. My body said, girl. I said, girl, yes. And then my body was like, sit the fuck down. And I said, okay, sis. And that's exactly what I did. And it was glorious. And like, sleep is that bitch. Like, God really went off. Like, he was like, when the concept of sleep, he's like, the girls are going to be shook with this one. And his blood, you know, God is good. John.
All the time.
There you go. And all the time.
God is good.
Bingo. Praise him.
Real quick, my weekend. So I was at Aresia, which is one of the biggest sci-fi fantasy conventions in New England. I think they had something like 5,000 attendees this year. It was a lot of fun. Got to see my friends that I rarely get to see. It was just really nice to see people. And one of the things that happened was one of my friends threw a party because she has an anthology. Also, shout out to Wizards in Space, Olivia Dolphin's pet baby. It's an anthology series. But anyway, she threw a party for it, and we were in this hotel room, and I was just like, I don't like socializing with a lot of people, and I especially like have a hard time socializing with like white nerds. So I was just in the corner with my friend, and we were just like talking about dumb shit, and I found a thread on Twitter, a thread on Twitter about things made out of jeans. And so we basically have spent the whole weekend like coming up with new ways to put J into words, and so we found jutes, which are the denim boots, the thigh highs with the open toe. We've got the denim bra. We've got the jails, the denim nails. We've got the jeeve, the denim weave. The J liner, the denim eyeliner, and these are all real things in this thread. I mean, if you check my Twitter, I retweeted this.
Wow.
And so then I retweeted it, and I was just like, a Joe meant like this. Some people.
Do they have like jondoms, like jean condoms?
There are jondoms. There was a Durex.
No!
There was Durex jondoms. There were some Durex jondoms.
Just imagine oh, no, never mind.
Or like
imagine
you went there. Just go.
As the resident empowered bottom, I can't imagine denim going inside of me that far and repetitively, and it feeling good.
That's why you use jube, sis. Like,
yes, all about girl. Yes, get your jube on. So like I came up with like
that's why I jar back.
Oh my god.
Kidding.
I'm leaving. Like, I'm done with you, bitch.
So I came up with like this like, I don't know, like I just started picturing like jutes and like Harry Potter. So I was like, imagine Harry Potter showing up to the Chamber of Secrets in like a pair of jutes with like some clear heels, and he has on like a maroon and gold Gryffindor hoodie, but he's wearing it as a dress, and he has like a gold choker with like lions on it, and he's like clicking around the Chamber of Secrets trying to hide from the basilisk. Like, could you not see that? And he's just like, and then the basilisk like turns to look at him, and then like Voldemort like duck walks out of the shadows in a silver leotard and green jutes.
Yes.
And then they bogue it out, and it's called Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes. The basilisk turns around and it's like, sis.
No, you know what? The voguing beats are in parcel song.
Parcel beat.
No.
So yeah, so like we were just coming up with different like random moments of just jeans and things, and we've been making a joke, and we ran it into the ground, but we've been joking about it all weekend and have just been putting J's in front of everything. But we fucked up with Jesus because we were just like, well, you can't even put no J in there.
Wow.
Yeah, but I really want a pair of jutes now.
I could really see you in some like thigh-high Jude's bays. Like I could really see you kind of rocking that.
Jutes were made for walking.
See that too.
Yes,
and that's just what they'll do.
Yes.
One of these days, these jutes are gonna walk all over you. Yeah. So I don't know. That was just like a funny thing that we did. I went to Harvard and I did my Boston accent, which sounds like my New York accent. It's just all of it's my East Coast accent, really, is what it is.
That's when we got to meet Mary Agnes McGillicuddy.
Mary Agnes McGillicuddy of the Boston McGillicuddies. My family dedicated a building to Harvard, so I've been going to Harvard for many years now. I got in for free. Harvard Yard. Cars.
Who?
Cars.
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 Josh.
Yeah, so anyway, that was my weekend, and it was really dumb, and I'm sure it's like not half as funny in the translation of the story as it was in IRL.
That's really funny.
But thank you, that was so convincing.
How was y'all's weekend?
Anyway, yeah, how was y'all's weekend?
Cute.
Well, I forget Renee NDA, so
John, how was yours?
Well, Rakeem forgot to mention we spent part of the weekend together, so thanks for forgetting about me.
Well, I didn't know what you were going to say. I also forgot to say that I went to the LA art show, so you ain't special, bitch.
What? Oh, wow.
I'm kidding.
So we saw The Shape of Water with some other friends. That was interesting.
That's a very nice way of putting that.
I am curious about a lot of things on how a lot of things went, but I actually don't. I don't know. If you guys haven't seen The Shape of Water, please let me know what you.
So many questions.
Jube, the Fleet water's always clean there. Whatever.
The Jeet water.
The Jeet water.
Gillette.
Gillette.
Gillette. They're gonna come
Gillette
to us
it
now.
Delete this podcast.
Gillette this podcast.
Gillette no.
Put it in delete no.
Oh my god.
Y'all are a bunch of G-mens.
Wow.
John.
So
Now it's weird to say John.
Right. Oh god.
What was your weekend like? Oh,
No,
The Shape of Water.
And it wasn't as, I know that, well, I don't know about you guys, but lots of people had today off, but I did not have today off because my corporation that I work for now doesn't believe in today's holiday, which is a shame. But that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, it sucks.
And that is the jush on that.
Oh, I do want to shout out to the listeners that approached us and like and also apologize because it was the first time in like months that I drank, and I was really drunk when one person in particular approached me and was like, "Oh, are you from the podcast?" And I like literally couldn't. I was having a hard time standing straight, and I was like, "Yes, it's me." Sorry, I'm not.
Wait, did you say it just like that?
Yes, it's me. I was like, I'm not in my best state right now, so sorry. Also, they probably saw. I think there's a video of me somewhere on the internet now. My friend was. Actually, let me not say what my friend was doing. But my friend was trying to distract me and was like, "Oh, like you keep looking at that go-go dancer's dick," and I wasn't. It was just like right by my face.
There.
You can look. It's fine.
Like, go give him $1 or whatever. And I was just like, and he gave me the $1, and I was like, I approached him and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then like I got nervous as soon as I saw him, and then I started walking away, and my other friend came by and was like, no, like go over there. And so he pushed me to this dancer, and the dancer was like, are you scared? And I was like, no, I'm not. And then he got off the podium, and like I was like, this is so embarrassing. Like he's gonna come down and be like don't be scared. Like you're fine. And I was like. Then he like props me up onto the podium and like lifts my legs up in the air and like basically dry humps me, and like there's like I saw a bunch of cameras come out, so I know that like I'm on someone's Facebook Live video now. And that's
Searching now. Where was this?
And that's how I was introduced to a couple of people, like right after or right before. A couple people were like, "You're from that podcast," so like that's my
That's my representation
Get it where you fit
in the world now. So
Facebook tagged photos.
Okay, so is that all of our weekends?
Yes.
Our weekends. Okay. Our Jeekins.
Jeekins.
All right.
No.
Well,
That was. Go ahead.
We'll be back with the
Discourse.
no.
Just over here, just causing.
Did you say
Okay, bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Hello and welcome back.
No.
Yes. This will never die. It will never die.
It will live forever.
Real quick, I don't care. We're gonna just mention this really quick because I just think it's so funny. We'll talk about it more next week, but I want to talk about this Pupself thing as a self-identifier.
You're right. So
As a pronoun.
This
As a
just
pronoun,
in from
yes.
Camping Proper. We're going to add pups to our pronoun list.
How do you return your shirt?
No. It's a joke. I'm kidding. No, we're not. Guys, continue with your story. This horrific story.
No, it's just some gay that's like some white gay from San Francisco, went on this Facebook rant, and to talk about how pup is now a pronoun and how we, the world, need to respect that. And I just want to say, white people have way too much time on their hands. Imagine a black person walking around talking about, y'all need to call me a pup and y'all need to respect it. Well, he would get lynched. I'm just kidding. It wouldn't be that deep, but he would not be treated well at all. And I think that is whenever I hear like white people doing this other kin thing where they identify as animals, it's just like I'm just like, are you that bored? Like, do you really think oppression is that fun?
Yeah, like why?
I think they do. I think they think it's fun. I think they think it's really fun.
It's like the video.
Well,
of
it's
that,
not even. Oh, go ahead. Go.
It's just like that video of that guy barking.
Oh my god, that video.
Oh, he was
Were
like,
we gonna say we're kidding?
Was that a sigh of pleasure?
No, there he was talking, and then there were subtitles at the bottom translating the barks, and I was like, and then I immediately posted it, and I was like, if I had to see this, y'all had to see this. And
I told y'all about the time I was at a convention, and some like 15-year-old girl, old enough to know better, decided she was a cat, and she kept meowing during this whole panel, and was like pawing at things. I was like, little girl, if you touch me, it's over.
I'm gonna skin you. Do it again, bitch.
No.
I dare you.
I'm taking your ass to the pound.
Also, for those of you that are going to send in emails about this, saying that we're being mean, don't.
I don't give a fuck.
We're not reading them. Like, we don't care. Like,
all of y'all are getting put down. It's a decree.
Anyway, the discourse.
Yeah. I'm just
Sorry.
like, wait, real quick, Renee, you were gonna say something now.
I forgot what I was gonna. I honestly forgot because the pound line killed me. But
yeah, just all these little pups, all these pups and kittens. Get yourselves together, please.
What I was gonna say is like it's just like I think white people are just like they're trying to find some type of way to feel like, oh wait, like I know that people are starting to kind of lock into or like be more informed about marginalization in society, and they feel like they're being left out, and so they're scrambling to like find whatever they can to be like, oh, this thing right here, this means I'm marginalized. This means like I'm an other. So like make sure to like, you know, acknowledge the fact that I'm otherized. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
well, you said this guy is like known in the Bay Area.
He's well known in the Bay Area. His pack is well known in the Bay Area.
Oh, Lord,
Why
not a
are
pack.
they called a
Not
pack?
The leader of the pack. Vroom, vroom.
The conversation was posted on several Facebook groups. None of the people that agreed, or none of the people that commented on that status at all challenged him.
Well, because they're all white.
Or challenged Pup, rather. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
Stop it! Stop it!
Also,
No.
Respect Pup, okay?
And
Put some respect on Pup's name.
Oh
on Pupself's
Lord!
name.
Look, if
and they only associate, like, one of my friends that posted the conversation was like, literally would see them everywhere, would run into them everywhere. Never anyone in the pack, hardly if ever a person of color.
Of course they're not. We're
Or
not crazy.
Or never even their friends, or hardly even like any no POC for, like, male friends that even aren't even part of the pack. Like, it's
I'm
just
glad.
Like,
that makes me very pleased. I'm
Like,
very
I'm
happy.
so
to hear
happy.
This.
I'm
It
proud
does,
of
but,
my
like,
people.
this is the path that you go down, though, when like you don't have any POC around to like tell you look stupid.
True. Well,
So-
look, please stay away from us and stick together, pups. I believe in all y'all. I believe in y'all cause. Stick
Please.
together.
Every time I just hear the word pack, I just think of like Game of Thrones and Nymeria with like her like wolf pack just like running around, and I just picture it just like them with like a bunch of like wolves with like white gay heads and shit, and it's just like I don't like why like
it's like
animals like that's
like
I'm
that
just thinking
movie
of the. I'm
Balto.
just thinking of the werewolves from Harry Potter.
not Lupin, sweetie,
Not
we're
Lupin,
so-
like Fenrir Greyback.
Fenrir, sweetie, we are so sorry.
I was just thinking about Balto.
Not Balto.
Oh no.
But you know how Balto was
not
filmed in
Balto.
San Francisco, and specifically the Castro and all these white dogs running around. I just
And then
can't
the gray dog was discriminated against.
I just can't imagine like
colorism.
if a pup came into the hospital and I ask people what their pronouns are, and if a pup comes in and says I'm a fucking pup, I'm like, then go to the fucking veterinarian's office if that's what you want, because I'm here to treat people and help people who are being, you know, marginalized. Like, what the fuck? I don't get it. I don't.
If
not on
somebody
the
ever
same-
said that to me in seriousness, I would just laugh in their face. I
Go to
couldn't
the vet.
Give them anything else.
Like,
No, but it does trivialize like
yeah.
the way that people like feel.
No,
like,
exactly. Like, the whole
fuck.
movement about these pronouns is because people are dying.
He also wasn't, if I remember correctly, he wasn't even consistent about the way that he was using the word pronoun. Like, I don't think that he even fully understands what a pronoun is because, or excuse me, I don't think Pup understands what a pronoun is. And I think that Pup
hate
needs to go
this.
get educated. You know, I know they have doggy training schools available. So I think Pup needs to check that out. I think they have them on Craigslist.
Jags
And
list?
I'm sure that
Yeah,
Pup is very
yeah.
familiar with that site. So
I wonder if they can, like, you know, if they're apartment searching, if there's like a breed restriction against certain pups.
No golden retrievers, bitch. Like,
No.
absolutely not.
anyway, so sorry, that's not the Discord. we forgot to mention that, and I can't believe that I did forget to mention it. But anyway, anywho, I thought today. Wait, shit. What was the discourse? I texted y'all. What did I say it was going to be?
Something
Things
that we
that-
enjoyed as children
Oh,
or when we were younger.
yeah. So, what is something that you enjoyed as a child, but excuse me, what is something that you enjoyed as a child, but now I guess recognize the problems with it, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, it's problematic, it's racist. It's just like, maybe it's like poor plot development. Maybe there's plot holes in the story. Maybe like the character is just a shitty person and you like them as a child. What's something that you like really were like super into as a kid, and then like now you're just like you're rewatching it and it just doesn't hold up to time, I guess.
I have two small ones that I can do, and then I might add on at the end hearing you guys. The first thing that I really did not realize was that the English version of Sailor Moon, they censor so much shit. Like, they censor the fact that
Oh, the lesbians?
yes,
Yeah.
and they're like that they're cousins.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, okay, this is so like, I was like, okay, I don't act like that with my cousins, but like I guess like
I mean,
they
some
just really
white people do, but
well, damn. I mean, they might be in the pack, but it's just, you know, I wasn't like, that just was kind of like, okay, I guess. And then like reading up on like why it was censored now, and there's a lot of gay things that happen in anime, like even in like Cardcaptor Sakura, like there's a gay relationship that's completely covered up in the English version, and there's like a main character that might have a main boy character that might have a crush on another guy, and they kind of cover it up. And I'm just thinking like, y'all tried so hard to censor this, and I still am gay. So it's just like it's just like seeing the kind of stuff that they do.
Yeah.
To kind of like cover up sexuality and stuff when you're younger. But what's crazy is like they'll do that, but then they won't censor like Ren and Stimpy, or they won't censor like Rocco's Modern, or they didn't censor like Rocco's Modern Life, or like all these fucking sex jokes in the Rugrats and stuff like that. And they let that stuff be in there. But oh my God, let a boy kiss a boy, or a girl kiss a girl, or hold hands or something, and it's like the end of the fucking world. And I didn't realize like
I was gonna say Ren and Stimpy had some like really intense shit in it too. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's an adult show.
There was allusions to like anal sex, like Ren like topping Stimpy at one episode.
oh, when they're
So-
chopping the wood,
Yeah.
Ren would be
yeah.
the top.
and then he was like, "Do you want to cuddle after?"
It was just the seeing like how just like how much effort they put into that stuff. Now that I'm looking, I'm just, or not, let me not say looking, but looking back at it, I'm just like, oh my God, like they really
You're looking back at it. Sorry, go ahead.
You can't win for losing. It's just,
Did you say now that you're looking back at it?
yeah. It's just like, you know, it's just like they put a lot of effort into like covering that shit up. And then the other thing that I just wanted to talk about, it's really small, but I just wanted to talk about the song Nasty Girl by Destiny's Child, because
Oh.
it was my fucking favorite song, and it was my favorite song off the album, and I was like, yes, drag that hoe. Like, and looking back now, the song hasn't aged so well, but 2018 Beyonce would never. But it was just
true.
like,
Right.
but just looking back at how slut shamey it was, like, I think back then a lot of that stuff really was normalized, so that kind of formalized a lot of critiques, or critiques that I had of people, like when Rihanna went through this like really sexual phase, and like Rude Boy came out, and a lot of people were like, she's too sexual, blah 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 blah, and they weren't allowing her the agency to be sexual, especially as a black woman. Like, a lot of, I think we're taught from a younger age that like that stuff that you can't that you shouldn't do, or that, or specifically like women shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Because I remember like seeing the video for Marquise Houston's Naked, and like saying like the BET saying like the uncut version was online, so like I went and potentially gave my computer a virus by going to try to download the uncut version, and I still didn't see dick. And I just remember, but no one cared about it being when the men did it, but it was always
Yeah.
like this thing that like women did. And like looking back, I used to subscribe to that shit all the time, and I had to like catch myself now. So looking back, there was just a lot of stuff I was taught about like sex and like respectability when it comes to sex that I really had to unlearn. But
Yeah, nobody ever drags Trey Songz for being a thought.
I mean, his music kind of drags him himself.
No,
but
that's true.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, he's like a thirsty thought. Like, he's
Yeah.
thirsty, and nobody ever really drags him for that.
Can you be a thought and not thirsty?
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
There are plenty of non-thirsty thoughts.
You can be like a low key thought.
You could be a local
Oh.
thought. Being a thought doesn't make you thirsty. It just means you have a lot of sex.
But being a thought doesn't make you thirsty, but being thirsty makes you a thought.
Oh, so the egg did come before the chicken.
I mean,
A plus 2.
Anyway.
My thing is, I'm a, y'all know I'm a Harry Potter stan, y'all know I'm a Titanic stan, but I think I'm gonna just stick to Harry Potter.
Say the
I didn't realize
one.
how fucked up it was that Albus Dumbledore leaves Harry Potter with his abusive aunt and uncle.
Oh, shit.
Aunt Petunia and Uncle Vernon are like some shitty ass people. They lock him up in the what do they call it? The cupboard, and he doesn't get any presents. He's like treated like shit. They don't tell him anything about his family, his parents, and they've been observing him to make sure he's safe. And they know, like, obviously, like, it's explained to us that he has to stay with them because their magic, the love of his mother's love is what protects him. And so he has to be with her relatives. But it was like, there was no, like, intervention or anything. Y'all could have, like, threatened him to act right. Because you saw, like, in the later books and even the movies, like, they started treating him better because they knew they couldn't, the wizarding world was watching them. So for years, he had to grow up in this abusive household. And Albus Dumbledore was the one who put him there. And then also Albus continuously manipulated Harry throughout the whole entire series. Like, he knew Harry was going to do these dangerous things most of the time. And not only encouraged it, but gave him hints to do these things. Like, who has, like, a fucking 13-year-old helping a prisoner escape the police at their school? Like, who sends a 11-year-old past a 3-headed dog? Like, it's just, I don't know. I just, like, and it's funny because I think growing up, like, I loved Albus. I was Albus Dumbledore. I was like, oh my god, like, like, I just loved him like a grandfather. And then you grow up and you kind of realize that, like, he was kind of a shitty, manipulative asshole. And
I love that you call him Albus and not Dumbledore. I'm getting life.
That's because he doesn't get the respect of Dumbledore anymore. He's just Albus now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was one thing. Another thing was how Snape, like, it was hard that was a hard realization for me to, like, be like, his redemption arc at the end of, what was it, the 6th or the 7th? He sacrifices himself for Harry, but that doesn't, like, absolve him of, like, all the abusive, like, shit that he did to Harry and, like, all the other, like, non-Slytherins throughout the time that he spent as the potions master. So it's just, like, thinking about, like, little stuff like that. Like, these people were, like, actually, like, horrible people, but, like, they're presented as, like, good people who did bad things, whereas I think that they're just bad people. So that's just...
How'd you feel about Snape?
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Snape.
Oh.
I'm talking about, like, the fact that he, like, was... He ultimately sacrifices himself for Harry, but, like, that doesn't change the fact that, like, he was obsessed with Harry's mom, despite the fact that, as far as we know, there was no reciprocation of those feelings, and he was, like, obsessed with her. And that he didn't, because her son looked so much like his rival, or not his imagined rival. Like Snape is like Maria Sharapova, and then, like, James Potter is like Serena Williams.
Yes.
In the series, and this whole time, like, Snape is like, James Potter is my rival, but, like, there was never any chance that Snape and Lily were ever going to be a thing. It was always going to be Lily and James. That doesn't mean that James isn't an asshole, but that just means that, like, there's just no competition, and the only person who thinks there is Snape. So,
what I learned is Lily Potter has shit taste in men is what I got from this.
I got that too. I was like, I think Lily would have done better with Lupin, though I get why he didn't like, go out with anybody. Like, I thought maybe Sirius might not be a bad choice, but I feel like Sirius was like a hoe in high school and at Hogwarts. Like, I felt like he had, like, hella girls.
I low-key feel like Lupin rod Sirius at some point, but that was just me.
Him?
Rod him, like, fuck.
I could see them. I could definitely see Sirius and Lupin having been, like, fuck buddies for a bit.
Like,
but I feel like Sirius is bisexual. I don't think he's strictly gay.
I don't know what it is, but I just feel like they fucked at some point.
I could agree to that. But I also just think that Sirius was like, I will fuck anybody.
Right. Like,
I will just fuck. And that's just what it's going to be.
He was so lonely in Azkaban. One of the Dementors came and he's like, sis, your face is a hole.
Can I get this suck, please? Let me get that suck.
He's like, suck my soul out. For real, though.
Yeah, we start calling them Gementors because, like, imagine the Gementors with, like, denim robes instead of, like, the regular robes, and then it's, like, frayed bottoms, like, flared out frayed bottoms on the edges.
Yes.
And it's, like, dirty on the ends of their robes. It would be cute. It would be a look.
When they float around, "Dirty" by Christina Aguilera, like, plays in the background softly. Like,
That's what, it's not that you feel cold and have bad memories, it's that you hear "Dirty" by Christina Aguilera.
you're like, you hear that coming, you're just like, ah!
Oh my god. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I got off of the top of my head with that. And then the Titanic. I guess I will say, like, the Titanic thing, but I think I talked about that before, which was that Rose was conveniently placed at every, like, important thing that ever happened. She was there when the telegram came that there were icebergs. She was there when the iceberg hit the ship. She was there in the steerage where, like, people were fighting for their lives, but somehow she made it out. She was literally the last person on the ship as it was sinking. So, like, she was so conveniently placed in every spot that, like, at the end of the movie, it, like, stuck out to me, and it was, like, really, like, not great. Like, in my memory as a child, I was like, "Oh, this movie is amazing! It's a cinematic masterpiece. The cinematography, the storyline, the script is just also amazing." And now I'm, like, watching it, and I'm just like, "Oh wow! Like, this is not a great script. I mean, it's beautiful. The cinematography is great, but it's just not a great script." And I, problematic as I was as a child, was obsessed with Billy Zane, and so, like, I was always like, "Get with Cal. Get back with Cal. Get back with Cal. He's rich. He's got money. He's got a face."
I thought the same thing too. Like,
but
really
now
cute.
I'm like, wow, like, he was abusive. So, like, good thing she got out, you know. So yeah, those are some things for me. Heather's didn't age well either. I somehow saw that as a child. I don't know how I got to see that as a kid, but I somehow saw it on TV as a child, and I don't know. I thought it was funny at the time, but, like, watching it in hindsight is very fucked up.
I feel like a lot of, like, 90s white comedy or any 80s white comedy aged really badly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff when you think about it is really fucked up. Like, the concept of Pokemon is really fucked up. Like, you're sending these 10-year-olds out to just travel by themselves with, like, animals that shoot electricity out at each other. It's like, okay.
True.
Anyway, John.
Well, speaking of 90s, well, I guess it wasn't. What was it? When did Bring It On come out?
Oh.
When did Bring It On come out? Oh my gosh.
I think
It came
it was
in, like,
early.
2000.
I feel like it was
came in,
early
like,
2000.
exactly
Just kidding.
2000.
And we mentioned one of my faves, Elijah Dushku, earlier, but there's a line in the movie that I really resent her saying, and
You speak fag?
yes, I hate it when she says that, like, because they're talking about Jan. There's a cheerleader. His name is Jan, and he's the gay one or the questionable one. And
Sorry, every time you say a J word now,
No, tell me why we were making this joke this whole weekend, and then we had an Uber driver, and his name was Gene. I was so dead.
No.
It was so funny.
You guys manifested your Gene driver.
It was
A
destiny.
Gene driver.
Choose your
A
destiny.
a driver, I guess, with a J is still driver. Anyway.
Yeah.
America, explain.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so they're in the car and they're discussing his questionable sexuality, and then Elijah Dushku, like, for some reason feels a need, like, she has the right to say, "Do you speak fag?" And I'm just like before, I don't know, when I was younger, I'm like, "Oh, that's funny, she's cool and edgy," but, like, now that I'm like, you can't say that, you can't, you know, if someone asked me if I speak fag, I'd be so, like, a little offended.
Depends on who asked, but I get it. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, depends, but, like, she's the new girl. Like, as the new girl, you don't get to say that shit, you know?
Well, if
Right?
she was the
And
old
just-
girl, then yeah, she could definitely.
If she was like,
get to say
you know,
that.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
It's just, you gotta earn it. If you really want to be able to call people fags, you gotta earn it. You gotta put you gotta put in your hours.
You need badges. You need to collect all your badges.
Exactly.
put in jerk.
If, like,
Get all your
There
ally
was-
badges. It's like the
Pokemon League.
No, it's like what is it called? The Little Boys of America. What
The
is it?
Boy
Scouts.
Scout
The
girl.
Little Boys of
I don't know, what do
America.
you call them? The little boys that go hiking, they go in the woods.
The Boy
I re-
Scouts. You
I re-
dumb
there
idiot.
we go. Yeah, it's like your Boy Scouts, your Girl Scout badges. You get your fag badges.
Are you guys the LBA?
I-
Little Boy of America?
Oh, like Long Beach Associated. Like,
Wow, no.
I'm down.
Shut up.
I
wait.
can finally say fag.
What?
No, like when you get that badge
You
is
get your
when you're
badge.
like a
Oh.
true ally.
Now
and
you get to
finally
say fag.
I could just picture like a white girl like jumping up and down with her friends, like, "Oh my god, you earned it! Oh my god, go off, Mackenzie!"
She like runs to the top of Runyon Canyon and it's like,
No, that's like her. She has like an Instagram picture of of herself at Runyon Canyon, and then it's just faggot with exclamation points.
Yeah. Or like super artsy. You know how like super artsy people put it like in all caps, but just space out each letter.
Oh yeah.
oh. It's not artsy though, but that's a discourse for another day. But yeah. Sorry, John, we hijacked your conversation.
No, it's okay. It's fine. You can, so there's that, and then I remember an episode. I forgot where we talked about our favorite animes, but I was talking about how I really liked Ranma 1/2.
Mm-hmm.
Ranma 1/2. Ranma. I don't know if it's
Janma, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Janma. And I was like, man, I remember really liking this series, and then when I went home to watch it that night and the next few nights, I was like, whoa, this is like really problematic because, you know, he's switching genders on and off, and they just keep talking about how like he's an ugly girl, or like I don't know, she's too tough of a girl, so she's not girly enough, and there's all these like really weird undertones about, I don't know, it seems kind of transphobic, but not. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, when every time he's switching genders, there's always like all these negative comments and like, oh, that's my son, or that's my daughter, and there's like these weird jokes. Like the punchlines is them not being hyper masculine or hyper feminine enough, and I'm just like, oh yikes! Like I wanted to watch it, and then I stopped watching it because I didn't think it was cool anymore. So,
but I get why that would appeal to you, because as someone who gets to freely.
Right, but
the
the thing is that the jokes weren't as like when I was a kid. I thought they were like, oh, that's kind of funny. But now that I'm watching it and like experiencing it, I'm like, oh, that's not funny.
Yeah,
It's good in theory, not the execution.
Yeah,
Right, and you know, like I'm sure, like to their favor, I guess at that time it wasn't. I don't know if there's an excuse for it, but never mind.
Like, to be fair, it was okay back then.
Yeah. Oh, no. I was like, let me.
She was a new girl, babe. She was allowed to.
Yeah, she wasn't allowed to say all of that stuff. Like, they should have got their badges before they put that show on air.
Oh my God, Renee.
Yeah, Renee.
So for me, one of it is like one is like media in general that I'll like go through really quick, and then another one is a band and or artist. I used to be really, really like embarrassingly obsessed with No Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And yeah,
Go
like really
on.
bad.
Go on.
Like it was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I used to be really like, and me and my friends, I remember we were like kids and we used to be like, oh my God, it's so cool. Like Gwen's like trying to dress up like a chola, or she's like wearing Dickies, or she's doing her hair this way or whatever. And she would even say in interviews, she was like, yeah, I grew up in a school with a bunch of cholas, so like I picked up on the style back then. And like for me, like at the time, and like for a lot of my friends, we were just like, oh my God, we were super honored because we're just like, our culture is like being represented on somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? So I would stand. I was just like, yes, like she gets it. Like she's representing us in a way. She's, you know, like she thinks like we're cool. And now that I've grown up and like look back at it, and like there was even an article that was like, would Gwen Stefani make it? Would she ever be as big as she was if like she started her career today?
Oh my God!
Because a lot of her career was based on appropriation, like
right, and then she jacked Harajuku girls right after.
Well, we see how successful Brooke Candy is. That great success.
But yeah, like the Harajuku shit. And
then she like and then she went like
ska
reggae
in general.
Yeah,
ska is like watered down reggae. So it's like white people's reggae. So it's just like, just someone that I was like really into, and like was I mean, I guess because there was a lack of representation in general, so anything like any kind of crumbs, we were just like, oh my god, yes, like give us that.
Yeah.
But sorry, John, what were you gonna say?
No, that's it. That's all.
No, what were you gonna say? You were saying something.
Nothing. That she. No. Oh, that she also. Yeah, she. I think it was Rocksteady where they went chola, then they went reggae, then they went Japanese, and it's just like, come on,
right?
What are you doing?
Yeah, like the luxurious video. She was dressed up as Frida Kahlo.
Oh.
She's like hitting a piñata. She's at a party at like this famous Latino park. And then she has like the Harajuku girls follow her everywhere, dressed as cholas, or like kind of like Latinx style as well.
Yeah. What? And then wasn't there a video where she had
weren't they? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
She had a Native American headdress on,
yes,
and then like
fucking
she ended up
that.
taking it down. I mean, like, how does it get that far to begin with?
Right. And the cover of that album, like, it was kind of like the photos that like a lot of like Latinos took at like malls and stuff, where like they like have like that head nod thing going on and everything, and like in the tank tops and shit.
All I know is she's with Blake Shelton now, and that says everything about her taste.
Yikes. Well,
you mean the sexiest man alive?
Ew.
Yeah.
In San Francisco.
but I didn't. It's not true because I didn't see him on Hoscos, so
I you're right, girl.
Well,
he just didn't make that guy fall in love.
Yeah, he didn't make his heart. He didn't make his heart fall in love.
But yeah, so it was Gwen Stefani, and then also like a lot of I used to really love like a lot of like misfit movies. And like I'm realizing that there's like I saw one this weekend and like a couple of them, and I'm realizing that a lot of them have like a somewhat similar thing where it's just like, oh, I'm a misfit, like I'm not understand like blah blah whatever, which I identified with still, I guess, to this day on like a weird level. But like some of it was like really weird in that like I watched The Wedding Singer this weekend. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that. It's like okay, it's Adam Sandler, like I understand, but it's like his one movie that I'm just like, okay, like yeah, I get this. But because it kind of talks about like class a lot, but there was one scene where like there's like this like little fat kid, and Adam Sandler goes up to him. He's like, hey, little kid, like what's going on? Why are you sad? And he's like, and he points to like the most popular girl at the party, who's like surrounded by like everybody. He's like, I asked her to dance, and she said that she would never dance with the loser. And then so he's like, so he works up a plan to like get Drew Barrymore to ask him to like say like, oh, I want to dance with one of these boys, and then chooses him, and then like the little boy like dances with Drew Barrymore and is super happy, and then starts grabbing her butt while they're dancing. And like I feel like, and I think this happened in like Stranger Things too, like like spoiler alert, sorry, the finale of Stranger Things 2, where they're at the dance, and what's her name, Nancy, goes up to, what's his name, the guy,
Dustin.
Nancy goes up to Dustin and was like, it's okay that like these girls that rejected you, they're stupid. When they grow up, they'll understand that like, you know, like you're whatever, like you're good or whatever. And it just like, I feel like all these things were like training people to think of women as like prizes and to not have their own agency, kind of, if that makes sense. Like, and if they reject you, it's because they're dumb, and it's not because they have agency over their own choices and like can choose like who they want to date. And you have to become a certain person like while you're older to be deserving of like any type of attention. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess like stuff like ideas like that were like when I was little, I was like, oh, I get this. Like now looking back, I'm like, this is kind of gross.
Yeah.
And this probably added to like the culture that we have, like men feeling really entitled to women, and potentially even like rape culture.
Yeah.
Where they feel like you know, like you're being stupid if you reject me, so let me just like take it.
Yeah.
So, but sorry, I got really weirdly deep with mine. But yeah, those, I would say like those two.
Yeah, I have one really quick one, but I know we're kind of running long on time, so should I just wait?
No, just go ahead.
I was gonna say America's Next Top Model. Like,
oh yeah,
did
you see that clip that's going around of them telling Yaya she's too African?
Yes. America's Next Top Model. Yeah, that clip. And Yaya was absolutely correct. I don't know who that white woman was, but I wish Yaya slapped the shit out of her because she had no right. You're just trying to prove your Africanness and you're trying to prove your whiteness. Shut the fuck up. And then they just had a lot of weird stuff. Like there was a shoot where they did blackface, and like at the time I was like, yes, like this is.
I was too. I was like, she looks like the other race.
Wait, they did blackface?
They sure did. I was like, she looks African. I was gagged.
Like, I was too. I was like, what's that gif? And it's just like, wow, like they just doing different shit, and then they got this is on a professional level.
They did this whole thing where they were like, they dressed all the girls up into like natives. They did they like had a whole thing where like there was that one girl in season 4 where they were like, what's her name, Kenya, where they're like, oh, you just eat too much, you need to stop eating and your weight and watch your weight and shit like that. And like there were times where they just straight up like called girls fat, like in a bad way, and like that was not good.
No.
And like there was a ton of stuff that they did. I'm just kind of like, wow, they are so glad that this was before Twitter, because there's no way that shit would fly now.
Yeah.
Like,
I also want to throw in I think we'd mentioned this before, but honorable mention is Will and Grace. Like I used to love that show as a kid, and now I'm like rewatching these episodes. Like, God, Karen is so fucking racist, and like this, it's not funny. Like the jokes that she says aren't funny. I mean, some of them are funny, but what she says to fucking Rosario is like fucked up.
I feel like a lot of 90s humor relied on a lot of edge.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't even really funny per se, but it was back then it was so edgy, like, oh my god, she went there. And so it was like, do you know what I'm saying? But like
also too, the 90s were kind of defined by like people not being like up in arms about things. Like I feel like there was like people didn't like, I don't know if this makes sense, but people didn't like to be offended or like to talk about that stuff. And I almost feel like the whole
it was shameful to be offended by things. Like you didn't want to be that person.
Like, I'm not saying that, like, cultural appropriation is, like, a new thing, but it's a relatively new topic that's being discussed, like, on the internet, I would say, like, like, a mainstream topic. So, I know, like, when I grew up, I didn't see a lot of issues. Like, I actually didn't even find the issue when Katy Perry did the geisha thing until someone pointed it out to me, and it took me a minute to understand, like, why it was a bad, like, I didn't get it at first. So, like, it took people a while to get that shit, and then you kind of look back and you're like, ooh, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely used to be like, I remember I got into a whole argument with this white kid in my class because I was like, I don't like when white people say nigga, but I don't care if Mexicans do. And like, we got into this whole argument because he was like, well, they hate black people too. And like, now I'm like, well, damn, yeah, that was right. But I was like, also like, that wasn't his, that's not what I'm trying to get into. My point is that I thought that it was okay for people of color who were not black to say it, but not white people. Whereas as I've gotten older, I've realized how much anti-blackness runs in all communities and how uncomfortable I am with non-black people saying the N-word.
Well, I guess that will wrap up this week's discourse.
This is an amazing discourse.
Yeah, what an amazing discourse. So we will be back with the Jello color.
We need to do a dissertation on this.
Yes.
Oh my god.
All right, so we'll be back with Jello color.
Stop.
What it do? What it do?
Hey, shout it. What's your name here?
We back with that. What it is, Rakeem? What it is?
What it is? What's up? Got your nigga in the cut. Goddamn! Remember that
video?
Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Wait, what video was that?
No, it was on a Vine.
Oh.
Remember, John doesn't have the internets.
I don't. I'm not up to date.
Or data.
Not up to date or data.
Or not up to date or data.
Up to Jada.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Up to Jade.
We stand legends. Jada Pinkett Smith.
We stand Judgins.
We stand unlimited Jada.
Oh my god.
Yes, get on that J Mobile Get on that J-Mobile family plan.
Yes, that Jamly plan, man.
That Jamly plan. Okay, so this person says, hello, beautiful queer folks. Thank you for providing such an amazing space for QPOC folks. I really want like a rapper to come out and call themselves QPOC. I really need this.
Oh my god.
You can call me Dylan. Is Dylan, but I just want to be extra. I'm a black, non-binary 30-something queer with a heavy foot in our community, which makes my situation particularly hard.
Come on, heavy
There
foot.
is a rotten egg in my midst.
Oh.
A non-black person that continuously uses the word nigger on a regular basis.
Oh.
I have seen them do it on several occasions, usually once the wine begins to flow. They are an old-ass gay Puerto Rican queen from the East Coast. Now, I know that there is a bit of a difference in NY with who can and can't use our word. The problem is that this person is super sneaky with it. They will start off by saying, so much has changed, I'm not even allowed to say nigger anymore.
Oh.
The first time I heard this, I laughed it off, having lower self-respect than I do now. It's 3 years later, and anytime they are around, they slip it into conversations. I have tried to avoid them, but inevitably they find another darkie in the crowd and find a way to sneak it in. Over Xmas, we had a large gathering. I decided to only invite black people and take up as much space as possible with the knowledge that he would try us in such large numbers. I warned as many people as possible, but alas, he found the one new booty in the group and unleashed his bullshit. I saw this happen and was too slow to catch it. Any advice on how to see a way into a conversation when all I want to do is see him with these hands? Baze, do you have any insight on the East Coast aspect of the usage amongst non-black folks? Thank you. I love you all. I hope your Fleetwater runs ever clear.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like John Fleet's with Everclear. but
Everclear.
Anyway.
Everclear.
Evian.
Gillette water. Gillette water.
Gillette water.
Gillette water.
Gillette water.
So, I mean, I think we can all like kind of touch. I mean, well, specifically me and Rakeem, but I think me and Rakeem can really touch on this. But I guess from the New York aspect, that is something that I've had to get used to. Is that like black people? Oh, sorry. I was like, what is that? Non-black people. It's very interesting because Latinx people. Well, one, they call themselves Spanish here, which has like been something to like adjust to because I think when I think of Spanish, I think of like white Spaniards. But
wait, they do?
A lot of yeah.
Oh.
When I think of Spanish people who identify as Spanish.
Oh, I thought you meant like Puerto Ricans identify as Spanish?
Yeah, a lot of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans that identify as Spanish.
Oh.
In like New York, instead of saying Latino
Yeah.
or
They
Latinx,
say I'm Spanish.
they usually say Spanish. Like I'm Spanish.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so that's the thing is that like a lot of Puerto Ricans and a lot of Dominicans are of African descent.
Right.
And so it's been like an adjustment because I'll meet somebody who's like doesn't look black at all to me, but they're like, I'm Afro-Latino. And I've seen that happen. And it's been a real struggle for me. I've had to just like, I'm always ready to fight. Like y'all know I'm always ready to fight. So I'll be out in the street and I'll hear it, but I'm just like, I can't fight everybody. You know what I mean? Like it's every other person. And especially since I live in like a Dominican neighborhood, it's just not healthy for me to be ready to fight people every day. So that's been something like I've just like kind of had to start tuning out. In terms of like one-to-one interactions, I definitely get it. Like I definitely like who wants to have these confrontational interactions with people. I like as confrontational as I can be, it's easier for me to do it with strangers. But when it comes to people that I know, it is difficult. It is a little bit more difficult unless they really get out of pocket, and then I can't help it. But I think that in this situation, like for me, like I'm like in a place now where I'm just like, you know what, I can't tell you whether you're black enough for like the general, I don't know, world and your interactions or whatever, but I will tell you whether you're black enough to call me a nigga. So that's one of those things where you have to be like, if you want to interact with me, you have to stop doing this. And I get that like that's difficult. It's super hard to do that, especially with people that you know, and especially in like social situations where you're unprepared for like dealing with like this. Like we're not like walking around ready to like fight people all the time, you know what I mean? Like we're not ready for that. Sometimes we're out just having a good time and trying to be in our spaces. or safe spaces, and in this case, this person is invading your space and not respecting it. So I would personally like pull them aside and just be like, you can't do that. And if you don't, I think you said you said that you talked to them about it. So then I would just go ahead and call them out in front of everybody and let it be known that it's not cool. And if you have to like get people like as your allies, like not as an ally, but you know what I mean? Like you have like other people with, hello?
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. It's really loud. Yeah, I would just utilize other black folks and just like if this person doesn't respect you one-on-one, like maybe they'll respect you as a group where you guys all start saying something to them. Because that's like crazy. That's kind of crazy to me that somebody would feel comfortable in a black space and then like feel free to just say nigga like that. Like, bitch, you trying to fight? That I'll fight for. I can't fight everybody on the street, but in our one individual interaction, if you calling me a nigga, if you calling other people niggas in my presence, then we got a problem.
Absolutely.
So,
I've actually had a situation kind of similar to, well, not similar, but I've been on a date. I think I've mentioned this before maybe, but I was on a date with someone that I really, really had a crush on, and they were Mexican and they said it. And I remember like the first time I had the same exact reaction where I was like, what the fuck? And then it happened again. And then I actually just called them out on it. Like, I just said, what the fuck? But what I would do is I would actually call them out in front of the group and have the group call them out.
Exactly.
So that way, like, they just can't sit there and defend and say, like, but. Like, no, like, everyone says you're a fucking asshole. So, you know what I mean? So that way, it's not, like, just you out here, like, I don't want to say making a scene, but, like, you know, if confrontation is not your thing, that way you kind of have the support from everyone else that's there. And then honestly, if they didn't change their behavior, then that person would just be cut out because like, and just be like, you're not invited to anything. And honestly, that's the one thing where I'm not afraid to just go public and say that shit. Like if you say that in that kind of way, and like, especially because I always want to know why people are excited to say that to me. Like why, like I would just be like, why do you want to? Like, why do you feel like that? Because usually people that want to say that just, they think, oh my God, it's such a cool thing. And like black culture is so great. And then they hate black people. So it's just like, I would just confront them that way. And if they still continue the behavior, then that's it. Like, I have a zero tolerance policy on that bullshit.
I think that like a lot of like, I've witnessed it growing up in LA. Sorry, now that is my heat. If for those of you who live in New York, you know the noise that these fucking indoor poles and radiators make. But anyway,
that sounded like a cat just died. Like
it literally sounds like somebody's banging on a pole with like a bar, and it'll wake you up. It wakes me up out of bed. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. I like get it a lot in a lot of cases because a lot of Latinx folks and black folks grow up really close to each other. So like a lot of Latinx kids like. I was on the bus some months ago, and it was some Latinx kids and some black kids on the bus in LA, and everybody, and they were just like interchangeably using nigga and this and that, and like I was displeased by this, of course, but you know their black friends were there like saying it, like clearly we're okay with it, and so I think that you know when they're younger, I get it that they grow up and there is that cultural exchange, and so there is some boundaries that are blurred. That being so, like I do like I think I am a little bit more understanding towards Latinx folks dabbling in black culture, just because I feel like there's such a cultural exchange. But once that is made clear, and this is like a full ass adult. From what I understand, you said the old-ass gay Puerto Rican queen from the East Coast. That was the description. So I'm assuming that they're old enough to know better. And if they can't respect it, I think they're also relying on you being too uncomfortable to make them uncomfortable. A lot of people rely on like you being so uncomfortable with having to confront them about the things that they do that they're just like, oh, it's fine. They're not going to ever say anything to me about it, or they're never going to make a scene. So make a scene. That's what they want. So give it to them.
Ooh. Yep.
Yes. So our next letter is, hey trash bags, my name's Orlando or Ollie. I'm really excited to be sending y'all something. LOL. I took a minute to shake off the nerves. A couple weeks ago, I got honey roasted by my bitch and accomplice Shannon, and I wanted to pay it forward by honey roasting my girl Daniel. Daniel, you're one of the most impactful people I've ever met, and I'm honestly so privileged to be able to call you my friend. Your bravery is infectious, and your determination is awe-inspiring. And even though your Libra magic worries the Cancer mama in me, I just want to let you know I'm so proud of you, sweetie. Beto, that's enough of that. You still ain't shit. Can't wait to see your dumbass perfect smile when I join you on the West Coast. So my question is about, so they have a question as well. So my question is about remakes and reboots. There's been a few really great ones this past year, like Spider-Man Homecoming, Devilman, Crybaby, Crash Bandicoot, and It. And I'm really excited for The Craft, Soul Calibur, The Nutcracker, Card Captor Sakura, and Hellboy this year. What are some shows, movies, games, or even books that y'all would like a good reboot remake for? A few things I would love to... okay, you're giving me more reboots. Go off, Ollie. A few things I would love reboots for are Bloody Roar.
Well, that was my answer.
Darkstalkers, Bubblegum Crisis,
Oh my God,
Revolutionary
Darkstalkers.
Girl Utena, and I want to say Thundercats, but they got a reboot that I'm still salty about them canceling. Sorry if this is too long. I'm going to keep my honey roast for y'all for another email at a different time because there's too much to say. Thank y'all for this busted podcast. Well, you gave us the honey roast. Okay, well, I guess maybe there was another one. So yeah,
No,
what
they
are you
meant
guys
for
excited?
us.
Huh? Oh, okay. See, this is why we pay you the big bucks.
I give. You know what? Never mind.
Yeah. What are some things that you guys are excited to have rebooted?
Well, first of all, I think that you are such a bad bitch because your friend honey roasted you, and instead of honey roasting them back, you honey roasted your other friend.
Somebody else. I noticed that.
It's like, thanks, sweetie. Anyway,
Back to this other bitch.
Okay, so actually, I'm watching the new Card Captor Sakura, and it's really good, but it's not a reboot. It's actually a sequel, so that's really good. To be honest, I know this just came out, but I want Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite to be... I want Marvel vs. Capcom to be rebooted because that shit is absolute garbage. Like, I think it can go. We're going to act like it didn't exist. That, and then I would maybe say, as weird as this is, Echo the Dolphin, like the video game for Sega Genesis, I really want to replay that again, like, but with 3D graphics, or the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Oh wait, that had a reboot.
That had a reboot. It was so good.
Oh, I didn't see it. Oh damn. Well,
that dolphin game would be fun though. That would be amazing.
I was gonna say Bloody Roar, but that was actually already in the movie or in the email. Have you guys played that before?
No.
It's like the fighting game where like the fighters turn into animals. So there's like this bad bitch named Jenny, and she's a bat, and like it's she's like a bad.
Oh
bitch.
wait, and there's like a rabbit.
She's an Animorphs.
Yeah. Yes, kind of. But yes, there's a rabbit in there too. Her name is Alice, and then there's like Hugo the wolf, and like this wrestler girl named.
Wait, what was that game called again? Sorry.
Bloody Roar.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, what about y'all?
I think my friend Jesse is listening, and he introduced me to Robot Unicorn. I think that game was so cool, and I hope it comes back like even better. Do you guys remember Robot Unicorn?
Yeah, a bitch. Literally I did in college was Robot Unicorn Attack.
Robot Unicorn Attack was so good. It's just a unicorn. It's like almost like being in a Lisa Frank world, but like you have to like destroy these stars by speeding towards them. And like if you get far enough, there's these dolphins that follow you. And I don't know, it's just like a super gay but also pretty heavy metal video game.
Oh my god, I wonder if you can still play it.
I don't know, but I miss it.
Oh my god, you sure can. Oh my god. Okay.
Oh,
bitch.
What about you, Renee?
I would probably reboot my favorite game when I was a kid on Sega Saturn was Nights into Dreams. I don't know if you all ever played that. But it was basically like this, like it was like you were like a little kid in the real world, and then you would fall into like the dream world, and then you would become like this floating knight, I guess. Okay. And would go around, go around, go around and collect stars and like clouds and stuff. And it had just like a really cute soundtrack, and it's probably influenced the stuff that I like now. a lot of the pop music that I like now actually reminds me of the soundtrack of that game. So
Oh.
It's like Charlie XCX did the soundtrack for the Sega
I'm
Saturn.
not okay. You know what? Unlock It sounds a lot like Night.
Get the fuck
and
out.
I think that's why.
Lock it.
I think that's why I like partly why I like the song so much.
Oh my
and
god.
And I was gonna say, I totally forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, that one, and yeah.
So much good shit.
Damn, I just forgot what I was gonna say. Wow, I was like really about to say it and then it just went.
Wait, is this for games only or like movies?
Blade. I want to reboot Blade.
Oh my god!
What did you say?
Wait,
Blade.
Honestly though, Blade was such like I feel like that was such a perfect movie that it doesn't even need a reboot. Kind of.
Well, I want the like sequel, the second and third one to be better. So I want them to just do the whole thing over.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The first one was
like
so good.
starring
Like
starring
I feel like
Trevante Rhodes.
Oh.
oh my god.
Oh.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Mm-hmm.
My dick just jumped. That
Everyone's pussy just quivered with delight.
And
Gibber.
Sick.
Send givers down your spine. Trevante Rhodes and Asia Naomi King as what's the girl? I always pick Asia Naomi King, and I'm sorry, but I just love her, and I want her to be in everything.
Oh my god, that would be great. Also,
She plays what?
have you played Shenmue like for the Dreamcast?
No. What
Never mind. No one knows what that is. Or you know what? We should remake Parappa the Rapper. Oh, but anyway.
Parappa the Rapper.
You don't know what Parappa the Rapper is?
No, I know what it is. I'm just.
All right.
I didn't think it was that good.
Bates is like, we need to go. So
Yes, I'm tired. This is,
okay.
So I think that's gonna be it. Thank you guys.
Oh wait,
for
let me
writing in.
wait. Can I just say really quick? I want there to be like a gritty live action remake of Sailor Moon,
Absolutely
Oh.
not.
Oh yeah, that
And-
would be awesome.
and also, but this one's an obvious one. But like, just like have Storm have her own movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, yes, we agree.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening as always. I think I forgot to say something. Oh yeah, I forgot to congratulate Rakeem on his art show last week.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
thank
signed
you.
out.
Congrats!
Thank you.
It was beautiful.
Thank you so much. It was such an amazing experience, and thank you for everyone that came out to see the show. Thank you for my friends that came to see the show, and it will still be up until Saturday or Friday. So if you want to come see the show, just send an email or DM me or something like that. I'm not saying where I work over the air, so and I will send you the information. So as always, if you have questions, send them to podcastofcolor@gmail.com. Send your honey roast there. Follow us on Twitter at Trash of Color. Follow us on everything else at Podcast of Color. And we will
Subscribe on YouTube. Leave reviews on iTunes.
And so with that, we will see y'all next week. So
No.
okay.
Next week.
Next week. Okay, so we'll see you
Wait,
next
should
week.
we start doing like a tweet of the week every week? I kind of want to start doing that.
Yeah. Do you have one for
Okay,
right now?
this week's tweet is by Hood Film. Their at is Scamber Rose. They said niggas lie so fucking much. Eve probably didn't even eat that damn apple. And I just been thinking about that all day. So, all right, y'all. Bye.